Very exciting this week. Some stuff finally came. Henry said to me yesterday when he was coming back from town, got an extra package here, I don't know what's in it. And I'm like, okay. And I couldn't think of a thing that I had ordered in the last while. Well, I never got a shipping notification. But they had promised they would ship it within 24 hours. Well, most of that sort of shipping is just non-existent right now. But apparently they did, because I have 20 new roller hooks for the tomatoes and cucumbers, and this is just one of the 2 bags. I should have a total of 1,000 of these clips. So I'm going to get started. These plants have needed to be tied up and sorted out much more carefully for a while, but I was trying not to use makeshift techniques because I knew in the long run I'd be unhappy with them. So now it's time for me to really get started. This will give me an opportunity to remove extra leaves that don't need to be there, extra growing points, and watch for bugs, because we have had a few bug problems in here. Nothing massive, but just annoying sort of things like inchworms and the occasional squash bug, once in a while a cucumber beetle. And I do have, actually I have some bug eggs that I found on a plant that had hatched that I need to check. I posted to a Facebook group to try and find out what they are, and I need to check to see. I haven't been on Facebook in the last 48 hours, so I need to see if anybody had the answer for me. Because I looked at these bug eggs and the bugs that were there. I took the leaf off the plant and stuck it in a mason jar. Basically, I sat there for probably a couple of hours and figured out all the different things it couldn't be, but I didn't know what it could be. So, time to get going. So, let's get comfortable. Okay, this is the first cucumber plant I'm going to be working on. It already has roller hooks attached up here on the ceiling. You can see them hanging up there from the purlin, and that's awesome. I am going to be moving probably this one out farther onto the end of the purlin. There's a bit of space up here. I can put another bit of string up there. Unfortunately, the purlin has not been continued. We need to actually buy some more hangers and things, but it still gives me a little bit more space. I'll be able to pull that vine that's attached to that one farther over into sort of unused space right now. And I have moved some of my storage. This is one of my junk shelves. I moved this down a bit more, and if I find I need to move it more, which I know I'm going to in the long run, I will move it. So let's get started. First things first, let's put a new loop up there. I do not stand on stools unless I have sturdy ones, and I do have a plastic one that I brought out from the house the other day. Ta-da! I'm going to take down one of these spare loops here, probably from over here, and I'm going to move it over up here. Now what this lets me do is move this sideways. So first I need to reduce the stress on the plant and drop it down a little bit. Then I need to push that out of the way, slide that off there, and I can move it over. Now I probably should shorten this actually, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Now what that did is it just gave me a whole bunch more room here. It kind of draped the plant down. I will go over the plant. I will look for anything that I don't want to be there. See, now we have a draped down plant. This is what the stem on a cucumber looks like. These areas here are called nodes, and each node has a tendril. Here's a tendril from this node here. It also has a growing point, which is this little bit of green leaf there, and it has a fruit. At each of these locations, you have the option to decide what you want that plant to do. In this case, because I'm in a greenhouse, I have a limited amount of space. So if we would go down this stem here, we would see that in this case, here's a tendril, it's kind of dried up, which happens sometimes. There was a fruit here. It's already been harvested. This is another growing node. I don't really want that plant to grow another plant right there, so I'm going to take it off. All I did was sort of pinch it off, and it's gone. Now you'll notice I do have a fruit down there. I also have other little fruits that may turn into fruits ready to become cucumbers up here. This particular type of fruit is self-fertile and does not require pollination. So it's going to do its own thing all by itself in the greenhouse without any additional help. Here we have another example of a node. In this case, we have fruit, we have all kinds of flowers here. And I'm just going to go through this whole thing. I'm going to also be looking for bugs. We've had some problems with, you can see the browning in the holes. Mostly we've had trouble recently with inchworms munching the leaves. So I'm going to go through here. Now, I can see that there's an inchworm somewhere here because there's poo on this leaf right here. So I need to look at the leaves above it to see if there's poo being dropped down by an inchworm. But I'm going to go through the individual areas of this plant. I'm going to watch for bugs. I'm going to trim out unnecessary leaves. And I'm going to remove any growth points I don't want. Because I do want this to continue doing interesting things and producing lots of fruit. But we do have other plants besides this. And as you can see over here, we have quite a bit of fruit. So I want to be able to control the environment. I need to keep good airflow in here because it is a greenhouse. And we'd be more susceptible to fungal problems and bug problems in a greenhouse. So let me get set up and get to work. If you buy these roller hooks in quantity, they will come in two pieces. They will come with a wire frame and they will come with the roller. And all you need to know is which is the top and which is the bottom. That's right side up. They always have this string stuck in here so that it won't unroll during shipping. This section here is where the knob on the roller goes. Takes a little fumbling, but goes in there just fine. And now you're ready to use it. It just simply catches on there. Of course it flopped out. There we go. There we go. It catches like that. I think you can see in that picture how there's a knob on, there's a notch on here, catches against the wire, simple mechanical lock, and that allows me to put these guys up here on the ceiling. So some places do offer assembly, but it's kind of like paying for assembly on anything else. They charge you. I knew I'd be able to put them together, and I didn't care if they were assembled. I just wanted them in a timely fashion. My usual supplier I don't even think had them. And if they did have them, they were going to take, like 3 weeks to ship them, and I needed them now. So I went somewhere else. So I'm going to pour a few of these clips into a tray so I don't have to scrounge every time I go to do something. So I have clips in there now. And they're the same as the clips I've used before. The string goes right here at the hinge. It gets caught by the hinge, snap, and then this gets hooked around the plant. That's all it takes. So I'm going to sit down here now and see what I can find. I do have a clipper with me. It has been disinfected, and that will be another topic of conversation for later. Oof. So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm looking at the plant. I have seen some new poo here this morning. That means there is a inchworm munching on leaves. Now, sometimes they can be incredibly clever, and I may or may not see it when I'm working this morning. But if I keep watching, at some point the little beggar will have made a mistake, and I'll catch him. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is down at the bottom of this plant, I'm going to remove some of the leaves. I'm going to throw them on the floor out in the middle of the greenhouse for now. But I will pick them up when I'm done. What this does is it lets me get good air circulation around the bottom of the plant. And that's what I'm looking for. This is a greenhouse. We tried hard to have good air circulation, but we are off grid, which means we have a limited number of electricity opportunities. And now this plant has been allowed to go a little bit longer than ideal. So it has an additional growth point down here that has already started to, it has a leaf and it has 2 growth points on it. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm not going to cut it off. I'm going to leave it, and when it gets a little bit bigger, or I may actually be able to do it today, we'll see, I'm going to put it on a separate roller. I'm also removing this tendril that is wrapped around another plant. I noticed earlier when I was looking at some of the other plants, there's one spot where a tendril has actually wrapped around the base of a fruit, and I have seen plants literally strangle their own fruit before. So I'm going to clear off other growth points down here because I don't want them. I'll leave this one because it's already longer. I'm pushing this guy out of the way so that I can see better. All the growth points here. This one's been taken off. This one has not been taken off. So I'll take it off. This one, the growth point is too small right now. If I were to try and take it off, I would be risking damaging the fruit, so I will wait to see if we get fruit instead. I can always come back because I'm out here every day. I think you can see the base of this plant now is essentially bare. It's a bare stem. It's got one growth point coming off of it right there. It's going to be a separate plant at some point. And the rest of this has been cleaned up. So it's not going to, it may try and send out new growth points, but I'm not going to let it.